Hello, everyone. Good morning or good evening, depending on where you're watching in the world. I wanted to come on and ask a question, and I see a lot of discussion about this. And I actually got a question on the channel about this recently. It was about a month ago, and I'm sorry it's taken so long to answer it. But Paul Schur asked, who's a regular contributor to the channel, I appreciate you guys, says, can you demonstrate the total number of practical hand positions, say first through fifth position, that one could train their brain and fingers to make in order to maintain great intonation? Okay, this is a great question. Like, where are the positions? Most of the time, with the exception of Johannes Starker in his method book, I believe he's the only one that kind of varied from kind of the traditional thinking of positions, all right? So as far as in practical terms, how many positions are there? Where we have half position, okay, first position, second position, okay, third position, fourth position, right? And how do we define those? Usually we define them because there's some overlap, right? Usually we define them by the letter name, okay, of the first finger, whatever the first finger is playing, okay, and whatever letter name that is, that's the position. Now, the only variation to that, like I said, that I've seen is actually numbering every single half step, going, say, starting on the D string with E flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can't even keep up that. So by the time you get to fourth position, you have 8 positions. I think that's too much, actually. Not that I would disagree with Johannes Starker, because he's, one of the legends of our cello world and cello history. But can you actually keep up with 8 positions in your mind? And is that actually the way that you're thinking about it? Just like the actual tapes that we start with when we're beginners, the positions get us close, right? They get us kind of in the ballpark of where we're supposed to be. And then our ears, okay, and our practice and our training and all of that stuff has to do the rest of the work. Yes? All right. But to get down to the brass tacks here with the question, let's start with half position. We'll start back here at the back, okay? So half position, and by the way, the other thing about this is that, the nut here is always our reference point of where we're coming from, right? And so even the position numbering has to do with whole steps and half steps right from the beginning. So this is half position, all right, because it is a half step from the nut, from where the string is stopped here, all right? So if I go about, I don't have any tape here, all right? So if I go a half position up, half step, excuse me, I'm in half position. So I have E flat, B flat or A sharp, G sharp or A flat, okay, or D flat, all right? And so this is half position. Now, again, what my first finger is on, okay, determines what the position is. Yes, okay, all right, not what shape my hand is in, not how many notes I'm playing, right? So even if I'm in an extension with the big one, right, up to the G, then I say I'm in half position extension, right? G down to the E flat. Oh, my finger's really on the side there, by the way, all right, when we're doing this big fat extension, okay? If I come back and I'm E flat or D sharp to F sharp or E flat to G flat, right? I still say I'm in half position. I'm in just regular closed hand position, right? Right? And just for the sake of speed, sometimes I say open for extensions. So I'm going back and forth between open and closed, okay? So even if I'm D sharp to F sharp, still half position, or B flat to D flat, or A sharp to C sharp, right? We still call that half position. When we come up, okay, and then all the notes there in between, you know, half position. Now, when I come up a whole step from the nut, right, one whole step, then I call that first position. Yes? Which is usually the first position that I play in. Man, I'm on my iPad here. By the way, just a little plug. If you're not practicing in front of a mirror, boy, I'm really actually enjoying practicing here, showing you this, guys, and being able to see my left hand. I lived in front of the mirror in college, but I don't get in front of the mirror as often as I should here as a professional and a teacher, because my hand's pretty much set. But gosh, it sure is nice to be in front of the mirror again. I have this nice new stand here, so I'm on my iPad for you guys here today. I'll put a link to this stand here. Wow, I love this thing. I think this is going to be my new favorite toy here for a little while, so that I can have a mirror again here in my studio. Anyway, all right, so first position, whole step from the nut. So again, it's what my first finger's on. So on the D string, my first finger's on the E, or it's on the B here on the A string, and so I call that first position. It doesn't matter if I'm in closed or open hand position, right? If my fourth finger's on the G, if my first finger's still on the E, right, that's first position. If my fourth finger goes up to the G sharp, guess what? That's still first position. All right, then we go to second position, and here's where we start to get some variation, right? So once I go up from there, let's say I'm going to go up to the F natural. You see how I'm finding this, just double checking my intonation. Open, first finger's on F natural, so I call that second position. If it's closed and I'm on A flat, okay, or G sharp, call that second position. Now, what happens when I go to, and by the way, I call it second position because what? D, E, F, right? First note, second note, third note, right? What happens though when I play an F sharp, right? Because I could also, because when we start talking about enharmonics, discussion for another time maybe, all right, enharmonics mean notes that sound the same but are spelled different, okay? If I'm on an F sharp, and this is where the, maybe Starker was inspired to number each half step, all right? So it's very exacting. It does make it very black and white to do it that way. So maybe that's why he did it. If I'm on an F sharp, do I call it second position? Again, I'm F sharp. Even if I go to an A sharp or B flat, G flat, right? Now, if this is written G flat, B flat, because the letter name is G, do I call that third position? Okay. Do I call it low third position? All right, and this is where you start seeing some variation in method books, and you start seeing some variation in the way people explain it, because, yeah, someone might call this low third, or someone might call this high second. I don't know. I think it's too much. All right, I've come to believe it's like those, don't fret stickers that when you put them on the fingerboard, right? And I guess that's where part of my thinking about how to name these and how to number these comes from, is that when you do have every single half step marked and you're trying to think about that, it's always too much, right? Every single student, okay, well, not every single student, but most students, when they have that don't fret and every single half step is marked, even though it's color coded, it's so confusing. It's so confusing. It's like, where does my finger go? It's too many lines, right? Just like in my video where I talk about taping up the instrument, it's actually better to leave the second finger tape off, right? Because you have the first finger tape and then you have this whole step space and then you have the two tapes together. And so having the one tape down here, all right, and then these two tapes together, when you're taping up first position, your eyes and your brain just process it better because you have the space. There's space to process it, right? So if you're trying to think about every single thing, low third or high second or whatever, I think it's too many things, right? You have to pick one. So, depending, I would say always, for your own thinking about it, just go with the letter name that's there. So if it says F sharp in the music, then you tell yourself, okay, someone says a half step forward in third position. We're going to get to that one here in a second. I got to wrap this up. All right, it's a busy Saturday here in the McKinney Sakharova house. Forgive me. All right, my wife's upstairs teaching, and I'm down here with you guys, but I'm happy to be here with you guys. So if it says F sharp, I'm going to call it second. If it says G flat, I'm going to call it third. That's it. All right, and I'm done. All right, and of course, if it says G natural, and my first finger's here or on D, I'm going to call it third. All right, again, even if I go to an extension, I'm going to call it third position, right? Now, let's go up to fourth position. Of course, got my thumb here, thumb reference, right? We call this fourth position extended or fourth position open, and we call this fourth position closed, yes? Fourth position open, fourth position closed, fourth position open, closed, open, closed, okay? That's just the way we do it, okay? And we don't do it differently. And that's how we name it. Even if usually, now also, fourth position also is different because I'm always using the neck as a reference to get here, right? So for me, because I'm always using this reference here and I know what fourth position feels like and I'm so comfortable in fourth position, I always, even if say my first finger is on D sharp, right? Because I said, we number it by the letter name. Even if my finger was on D sharp here, I'm still thinking fourth position extended back. Yeah, because I'm here, because this gets me in tune. If I think third position D sharp, right, I'm not using the reference of fourth position. And the reference of fourth position is really important to getting in tune. Yeah? So fourth, extend back. Fourth, extend back. When I have to do open. So like when this finger is on G, G down to E flat. Or if this is on C, okay? I'm thinking fourth position, extension. Fourth position, doesn't matter what string I'm on. Fourth position, extension. Fourth position, extension. Okay? And that's fourth position. And that's most of what we encounter when we're really thinking about positions. Now, I do, I guess I do think about fifth position some, but since once we get past fourth, depending on your hand size and what you're playing and what you're doing, we kind of start the violin fingering. Yes, okay. And once we get past fourth and start getting into fifth, I'm not thinking position numbers. I'm thinking half steps and whole steps, like half steps and whole steps. So I guess in the upper positions, I kind of am a like Starker, right? All right, trying to think about just like the individual little half steps, right? It just gets easier. Now, and I don't, I guess in all, because once you get up here, you're using your ears, you're just trying to get in tune, scales, and just your own reference and knowledge of the fingerboard, which kind of happens down here too. I think the position thing helps us when we're students, okay? Just to figure out like, where's my hand going? What note am I on? It helps with the reading. But once you're reading really well and you understand half steps and whole steps and you understand all the relationships there in the music, it's half steps, whole steps, half steps, whole steps. How far am I shifting? Am I shifting an octave? Am I shifting a fifth? What's the interval relationship here and how far am I going? It's really based on my ear once I start getting into the upper positions. Okay? All right. So a quick rundown there of positions, how we name them, how I'm thinking about them, and we can explore this further. I appreciate you guys so much for hanging out with me here for a minute. Just wanted to answer that question. Paul, if you're watching, if you see this on a replay, if you're here live, I hope that answered your question. I hope that was helpful to you. And if it didn't, if you still have another question, I love answering questions. So please, leave me a comment, and we can tackle it another time, maybe another time this weekend. Okay. All right. Appreciate you guys. I got to run, and I'll keep you posted on the community post with our activities today, if that might be fun. All right. Bye.